Let's open the book on this. Today in Portland, millions in housing funds went undisclosed for months, and city leaders are asking how that happened, what it means for transparency, and what gets fixed next.
All right, let's set the stage for this one. Quick hit of headlines, clear and fast, then we'll unpack the details.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett.
Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett here in Portland, Oregon.
All right, let's kick things off with this. Portland City Council just held its first oversight hearing since the city's charter changes in April. Quick definition here. An oversight hearing is a formal check in where elected officials press administrators on what happened, what went wrong, and how to fix it. And charter changes are basically an update to the city's rulebook, kind of the constitution for city government. Council members probed why millions in housing dollars were off the books for months. We're talking about $21 million in unbudgeted housing funds that weren't clearly disclosed. Concerns centered on administrative bottlenecks, meaning places in the process where paperwork or approvals get stuck, and the fear that if this isn't fixed, it could happen again. The goal now is tighter transparency and accountability in how the city tracks and reports money.
That's a lot of money to lose track of. $21 million in housing funds not flagged to the council is huge, especially when people need support right now. Real talk, the communication gap here shakes public trust. If residents can't see where the money is, it's hard to believe the system's working for them. Why did it take months to surface this, Garrett?
Yeah, that's something to chew on, huh? From what council pressed, it sounds like internal handoffs weren't clear, and some funds sat in limbo between departments. That's not unusual in a big bureaucracy, but it's not okay. The whole point of an oversight hearing is to pull that into the light and hopefully nail down who does what, when, and how it gets reported fast.
And ideally a fix that's simple and trackable. If the city can show a clean process and real-time reporting, that's how you start rebuilding trust. Let's not let this one slide by. Accountability has to mean action. Okay, let's move on. Portland's Women's Residential Treatment Center, run by Volunteers of America, Oregon, a nonprofit that provides social and health services, has permanently closed. The announcement came in April, right after the center abruptly discharged nearly 50 patients and staff were laid off earlier in the month. The organization cited rising operating costs and a building that needed $4 to $8 million in upgrades. The Oregon Health Authority, the state agency that oversees health systems and regulates care standards, raised concerns about how those sudden discharges were handled. The big issue here is continuity of care, making sure patients have stable, safe plans when a facility closes. This closure spotlights a wider problem, because addiction treatment centers struggle to stay financially viable, especially in older buildings that are expensive to maintain.
Yeah, that hits different. $4 to $8 million in upgrades is a mountain for any nonprofit to climb. If the roof and systems need major work, the dollars add up fast. But it raises a hard question. Do we have enough backup support in the system so people in treatment aren't left scrambling? When a facility shutters quickly, what's the safety net to catch folks in a vulnerable moment?
Exactly. Transition planning isn't a nice to have. It's the core of ethical care. Clearly, there's tension between financial reality and patient safety here. I'd love to see a rapid response model, short-term beds, transport, meds continuity, triggered automatically when a provider signals distress. Keeping it real, that sort of protocol can save lives.
All right, let's roll on. Leadership shakeup at Home Forward, Multnomah County's housing authority, which manages housing support for over 16,000 households a year. Ivory Matthews, the CEO, resigned effective in May, and the news dropped in late April. The scrutiny was over travel on public funds, and while details are still being sorted, the optics alone can be destabilizing, right? Michael Buonocore will step in to lead on an interim basis. He's currently serving as the interim director of the Portland Housing Bureau, which itself oversees housing policy and programs for the city. Quick note on why this matters. Leadership transitions can ripple through voucher processing, wait lists, and project timelines. Consistency is key when you're serving thousands of households under pressure.
That's close to the heart of it. When a housing authority changes leaders in the middle of a regional housing crunch, even small delays can create big consequences. The good news is Buonocore has prior interim experience, so hopefully smoother handoffs. But the sooner there's clarity on policy direction and timelines, the better for families counting on rental assistance and placements. Switching gears just a little, the City Council has adopted a transportation utility fee set to kick in January 2027. Translation: a monthly fee will be added to your water and sewer bill to fund the Portland Bureau of Transportation, PBOT, for basics like road maintenance and safety projects. The council passed it 9-3, with Council Vice President Olivia Clark pushing the effort across the finish line. The fee is projected to raise about $46 million a year. City leaders say this creates a sustainable revenue stream, money that reliably comes in every year after years of stop-and-start funding. Some other cities use similar fees, and they're known to be pretty stable, even if not universally loved.
Yeah, I get the logic. Steady cash flow to fill potholes and fix signals. That's pretty cool, right? But I also hear folks asking about fairness. Since the fee isn't tied to how much you drive or bike, it's not usage-based, people wonder why it shows up on utility bills at all. Water use and road use aren't exactly the same thing. Still, if the choice is between crumbling roads or a dependable fund, I'm down for the city being honest about the trade-off and delivering visible fixes fast.
Totally get where you're coming from. If the city can show clear outcomes, safer crossings, smoother arterials, fewer crashes, people may feel better about the fee. Proof beats promises every time.
On to the next thing. Portland Public Schools are facing a $50 million budget shortfall for the coming academic year. Shortfall just means expenses are expected to be higher than the money coming in. Reported in April, the district warned that layoffs and possibly school closures are on the table if nothing changes. This isn't just a Portland story. Districts across Oregon are feeling the squeeze. District leaders have been lobbying state officials for emergency help, but so far, neither the legislature nor Governor Tina Kotek has released extra funds. Bigger picture, stakeholders keep saying the school funding formula needs structural fixes. In plain English, the way we raise and distribute school money may need a long-term rewrite rather than short-term patches.
Here's where it gets really interesting and a little frustrating. The state has a $1 billion emergency education relief fund available, but it hasn't been released to districts. Can you believe that's even a thing? I get that there are rules and timelines, but when schools start talking pink slips and closures, the clock is ticking. Why wait until the damage is done when bridge funding could stabilize classrooms now, while the long-term fixes get hammered out?
Yeah, that checks out. If the state goes the route of temporary relief plus a plan for future stability, that could keep teachers in classrooms and give families predictability. Whatever happens, clarity needs to come fast. Budget planning windows are tight, and uncertainty makes everything harder for staff and students.
And that's where we'll leave it for now. Thanks for riding along with us today. Stay informed, look out for each other, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
So, there we have it, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day out there, and stay curious.